So I will share the love of our Savior, watching God righting each wrong. For all too soon the clock will strike midnight, and we'll be gone. Today on Mikhail Messenger. Welcome to Mikhail Messenger. It's great to be with you. I hope you're having a wonderful day out there today. Please do hit that like button and that subscribe button, that notification bell, all the bells and whistles. And if you could give me a thumbs up and let me know that you are hearing me good and all is coming through for you. That's what I need to know. And guys, things are happening, and they're happening so fast it's hard to keep up. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you. I love Jesus Rants Forever. Woohoo! Thanks, Gina. Woohoo! Guys, it's kind of bittersweet thinking that we will soon be gone. That song is Cinderella, and it's a song about a father singing to his daughter how, I want to dance with her while she's still here because soon she'll be gone, and the truth is that's true for all of us. I mean, we're all going to be gone pretty soon. And it could be very soon. And some may be gone and some may not. And there will be a bittersweet moment there of separation where we will be gone. We will be gone from this world. Thank God, right? But at the same time, it's kind of a heavy, heartfelt thing there to think about. Obviously not in the way Lot's wife did, where she was longing for the worldliness of everything, but caring for people, caring that it's sad to think that destruction will come upon the world and that people will have to endure that. We don't want to be among those people, but there will be people who will have to endure it. And for some people, it's the only way they're going to be saved. And so that's something we have to remember is that those who are going to be saved, well, they're not going to be saved anyway, and their place is in the lake of fire ultimately. So it's kind of just a warm up, you could say, for that. No pun intended. But there's another group there that they're on the fence. They haven't really come to Christ yet. They haven't come around. They're kind of in a limbo state, and it could be that this tribulation is what really puts them over the edge and helps them finally embrace the Lord. And so it's something to be praying about, something to be thinking about. And while we're still here, we want to be sharing our faith and loving people and encouraging people as long as it's called today, and hoping and praying that those last people will make it through the door before it's too late. And it seems like we may be just about there. So you may, if you spend any time studying end times and been in this kind of crowd watching these videos, you know about this creepy video that came out back in 2012 that we have been tearing apart ever since. And I've done my share of videos on this already. If you want to check out the playlist, I do recommend highly the first two videos there, connecting it all to the royal line, and that was 11 months ago, so long before Chucky received a crown, but very interesting things in there, connected with, the chess and the coins with the crown on it. I mean, there's so much in there. It's very interesting. I also did a long 3.5 hour expose, you could say, with another brother, Matthew, and I, and we went over IPG in great detail from a Christian perspective. It was very interesting. And then I also did a little music video there as well, that little 1 minute short there, and then a couple others there also. Very interesting connections, with Alice in Wonderland, and the Q, as you see here, picture that first video. I go over in great detail how she is connected with Alice in Wonderland, and the whole royal line is as well. So very intriguing things to look at there. But if you go today and try to find this video on their channel, it is gone. It is gone. This is their channel, the channel that created IPG, the I to the pet to the GOAT, and it's gone. Now, it's been up there for years, since 2012, and they recently, in June, had put up another video, and now they're all gone. They have no videos on their channels. They have nothing here. If you click on this, it's just nothing, nothing, nothing at all. And even their About page, it's kind of interesting. So, and then if you go to their website, it's also gone. Bye-bye website. So let me move that down a little bit for you here. Now, I appreciate brother Philip Mark, who actually was the one who shared this with me, because it made me think of all the things we've been talking about in that video and how we are upon it. And as we know, recently, so again, if you go to their website there, it's Helio, or HELIOFANT.com. That used to be their official website. It's gone. So not only did they delete all the videos, but they also deleted their website. Interesting, though, they didn't delete the channel from this platform. So are they still going to maybe put something up there again? One last hurrah before it's all said and done. Intriguing to think about, but they did delete their website there, and maybe this channel is soon to follow. So if I were you, if you wanted to get a copy of that video for any particular reason, I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, things are disappearing. And now is the time. So if you remember back in July of last year, July 6th to be exact, of 2022, this event took place. Now, I did a video on this. This is a video I did as well. You can check out on the website. But these are called the Georgia GUIDE of the STONES. And why do I spell it? So that you can see these videos. Even then, they often will LIMIT these videos. But at least you get to see them. So in any case, they destroyed these stones that had on them their sort of worldly 10 commandments, so to speak, of what they intended to do and what they're doing right now. Well, now that they have it in motion, they basically don't need that anymore. That was up there as kind of a, this is what we're going to do someday. Well, now they're doing it, so they demolished that. They got rid of that, and that was last year in July. So now here we are on the verge of all the 7-year covenant, everything coming into play, coming into fruition. And so now they're getting rid of the videos as well that pointed to that. Very intriguing. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this, if we may. So this is the video, okay? And there's a lot of scenes in this video that are intriguing, including Mr. But this I would say this is probably the most iconic and perhaps most telling little vignette of the whole video. I mean, there's a lot in there. We'll talk briefly about it, but in this shot, I mean, it opens with a goat, locked in a cage and in barbed wire, and that's where they intended all us to be, with the mark of the beast on his head. But before we get to that point, we're kind of seeing the lead up. So first we see the W, Mr. Shrub, another word for shrub as the prez, and then Mr. O. So Mr. B and Mr. O kind of open it up. Actually, let me see. Yeah, they kind of open it up in the schoolroom here. And then we go to this. Then we go to this girl. Okay, so she looks a lot like Alice in Wonderland, right? Kind of an Alice in Wonderland thing going on here. And she's sitting oddly, and we've got this same checkerboard floor that we see in the MASO to the N loges, and the sorry guys, it's just the world we're living in, man. Got to be shrewd as snakes. But the free to the M to the A to the S to the O to the N's, and in their buildings they have these floors, right? This is the floor that they have, these black and the white checker or chess board. And so she's sitting in the midst of this, and we see 12, I believe, individuals sitting around her. And it could represent months, could represent people. I mean, there's a lot of representations there because we've got Christ and the 12 apostles, or God and the 12 tribes. I mean, there's a lot there, the 13 as they call it. So there's a lot there, but we certainly have the 12 months of the year. It certainly seems like a telling of time because we also have up on the wall at the left, we've got the stag jumping. We have the rabbit in the back. We also have an exit door in the back left, which is interesting as well. But I wanted to kind of pick it up here in the video and just briefly talk about a couple things because this pertains to this month that we're in right now. So what happens in this video basically, and you can look at it more in my other videos. I can't play it for obvious reasons, but I'm just going to kind of click through it. So basically it goes dark. We see the exit door highlighted over there, which is what we're looking for, the exit door, right? We've got the rabbit highlight as well and so forth. And that kind of has like a red hue. Okay, so she bows her head and basically she drops this apple, okay, the fruit, if you will, of the tree, you know, kind of like Eve and the apple, so to speak. It wasn't an apple, but you know, there's a symbolism there. So she drops the apple, it rolls on the floor, it rolls through this circle, and it seems like it's gold paint or something. Well, actually, it appears to be honey. Hi, honey. So the apple falls in the honey and rolls across the floor. And then we go over to this C7, which we talked in the other video about the chess connections and so forth, and how that's how you take the king, the queen, and how the queen takes king and so forth, and how you take the throne, basically. So you can look at that in the other video I did on it. And then we go to Mr. O, who has his foot on top of a coin, which is a royal coin. And he's looking down and something's growing out of it, the lotus flower. And then he's kind of looking nervous. He's looking afraid. And there's a little bead of sweat that comes down his head, if I can catch it here. I don't know if I'll catch it or not. But yeah, it's shaped like a V, or it can be like a 7, like a sideways 7. So there's different ways to think about this. Are we going into the 7 years of tribulation? Or is it the 7 kings that we talk about? And is he the 5th king of the 7? Is he afraid of the king who's coming, the Antichrist who's going to be over him? Right? Is that what he's afraid of? Why does he have a look of fear and not confidence on his face? And like, ha, 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 I've got you now. You know, it's more of a afraid, right? So there's a lot to think about there. But when I thought about the fact that they just deleted this, okay, and I thought, so what is about to happen? What's about to happen? Because they got rid of those stones, and then now they brought in they got their whole plan going, and now they're getting rid of this as well. Interesting timing. Now, if you look at this, the stones were taken out on July 6th, okay? So 7/6 of 22. Now, if we look at this video, okay, so they didn't put out a video on the channel for the whole, you know, however long that was, 12 years, 10 years, I guess it was, until just this past June, they put out this video called Port du vieux-montreal. Forgive my French. But so they put out this other video that was not an animation, but was just someone walking through the Port du vieux-montreal and ending at this SOS building. But what's interesting is when they put it out, it was put out on 6. Well, it has a date that it was released on 6/23, but it actually didn't appear till 6/26. If I got that correct, if I said that backwards, then forgive me. But basically, they had one date for the video in terms of its release date, and then 3 days later, it actually was posted. I could have that vice versa, but bottom line is that it was a 3-day thing on 6/23, June 23rd, and then June 26th. There was that 3-day separation there. Now, what's interesting about those dates is it's actually a 666 going on there, because you got it was June 23rd, so you got the 23rd, and You know, in other parts of the world, they put the 23rd first. It doesn't really matter. But you could put 6, and then 2 times 3 is 6, and then 2 times 3 is 6. So you have 666. Well, what's interesting in September, you also have 666. You could say, is this a foreshadowing to 923? If you flip the 6 over, you've got 923 and 926, right? We know 923 is the end of summer, you know, the beginning of the equinox, and then we have the 926 being Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement. So very intriguing. Do we have a 666 going on here? And I thought it was interesting today that this was revealed, because today is 9/6/23. So I'm like, wow. So it's all kind of coming together. So they just deleted this, I guess. I don't know if it was today or last night or when exactly happened. But again, thanks, Philip, for bringing it to my attention. But, you know, here we are, a 9/6. So we're playing with the 666s here. So it's almost foreshadowing 9/6 to 9/23. And so when you look back at this picture, you see that it was from 6/23 till July 9th. So again, pointing to 9/23, July 9/23. So they're pointing you back to 9/23. And July is the 7th month. So basically you have what's going on in the Hebrew calendar. You have the 7th month of Tishri and the 9th month of the Gregorian calendar. So you have July 7, 7/9/23. So it's like it's telling you, right, that from, you know, and this was, I don't know what these dates relate to. I don't know if that's how long this exhibit was open. You have 16 days. Oh, I see. Because they're taking the 16 off the building there, and they're saying from the day they put it up, the 23rd, you go 16 days, and you get to July 9th, 23. Same thing with the if you were to do it as 1 week and 6 days, you still come to July 9th of 23. Oh, that's cool. So in other words, you get 7/9/23, and now that's what we are in or going into. Have we started the 7th month? No, obviously that starts on Rosh Hashanah. But 7/9/23, right? That's what the 23rd would be, and the 26th would both be in 7 of the Hebrew calendar and 9 of the Gregorian calendar of 2023. Wow, pretty cool. And so does that point to Rosh Hashanah, or does it point to the 23rd? Now Rosh Hashanah is around 15/16, you know, eve of 15. So, you know, 16 starts on the eve of 15 for us. And so it could point to that. It could point to the start of it. It could point to the 23rd. It could point to the 26th. Very intriguing. Okay, let's keep going here. So what's this? Okay, so we looked at that. So in July, there's what's called a full buck moon. And there's different moons for different months, okay? So July of 2023, a full buck moon. So you have this buck on the side. Well, if we go back over here to the video, you'll see in the left side, there's a buck jumping. Let me move this down a little bit. You see that buck jumping over there? He's a buck jumper. Whatever that means. But he's jumping over there, okay? And so what's interesting about that is we know that both the STONESs that fell in Georgia took place in July, okay? So it was like a year foreshadowing, July of 2022, right? That was this event here, okay? You can go watch that video to learn more about that. And then we have, and that took place on July 6th, okay? Then we have this event that took place is June of 20, June of this year. But it goes into the stag month, or the buck month. It goes into the time of the deer jumping, right? Goes into July, which is that month. So you kind of have both events sort of foreshadowing echoing each other, I guess, during that time. So including July 6th. July 6th is one of the dates that this covers as well. So that's also kind of intriguing that you've got that happening from the video, right? So going back to the video here, we see him jumping up in the left there. And so we've kind of got like a timeline of events, so to speak, right? The deer has jumped. So we've got this month of the buck month of a full buck moon. And that happened in July. So then we look at the next thing here. Of course, we have the exit sign. Now, it could be that they didn't know what year it was. Maybe they thought it was last year. But, because a lot of things lined up last year as well. Again, watch those other videos because interesting things that happen with the queue and the whole royal situation and all of that. But there's an exit door right in the middle. So that's intriguing. Like, does that mean we're going to exit before we get to the rabbit? Well, we're in the rabbit, but maybe before we end the rabbit. So if we go over here to the next one here, we are in the year of the rabbit right now, the year of the water rabbit, according to the Chinese zodiac. And we entered into that sometime this year, I think in January. So it says down here, it begins in January 22nd. Okay. So we entered into this year of the water rabbit. It's interesting, it's a water rabbit. Now here, there's different types of rabbits that they have here. So like down here, it talks about there being an earth rabbit, a gold rabbit, a fire rabbit, a wood rabbit. And then there's a water rabbit. Well, I find that interesting because there's a lot there with water. Obviously baptism is a big thing to think about, being born again of water and the Spirit, starting a new life with God. There's also the idea of the water breaking of the pregnancy, and it's finally going to break. So this goes through to February 9th, 2024. But there's a lot there with water, living waters, walking on waters. There's a lot there that you could tie into, even with the stars, thinking about Aquarius being in the time of Aquarius and the water carrier. So that's interesting. So we're in this water rabbit now, but could it be pointing to the fact that this is going to be done before we're done with the rabbit, so to speak? So it's after the buck, but before the bunny. Okay. Well, why did I feel like I needed to do a video on this? Well, for one thing, obviously, that's pretty shocking that they just remove everything. So, I mean, that's significant in of itself. But I think even more so, when you put all these dates together and you start putting this together, and then you look at what's happening in this video, she is sitting here in a circle of gold, but we don't know what that is. Well, she drops this apple, and again, you can see it better in the other video that I do, because and it rolls in the gold, and the gold gets picked up on the apple. Well, this month that we're going into, as we know, Rosh Hashanah happens on the 15th to 16th of this month. So 10 days from now, we'll be there. And what do they do? What is the most popular tradition that they do during Rosh Hashanah to celebrate? Well, they dip apples in honey. That's what they do. So it's believed that centuries ago, the apple was chosen as a fruit that was to be dipped into the honey on Rosh Hashanah due to the symbolic nature of the fruit. Right, the symbolic nature of the fruit. So even they have that symbolic nature of thinking of the apple in the garden as well. Because how else would it be symbolic? Maybe I'm missing something there. I mean, of course, it is a land of milk and honey, so we have that connection, but apples and honey. So you've got her sitting in the middle. Like this is the primary focus of this segment of the video, and she's dropping the apple into the honey. And that's when everything goes dark. That's when the exit door gets lit in the time of the bunny in the back, or the rabbit. And after the buck moon, so to speak, and she drops it in the honey, and then it all takes off from there. Now, what's interesting is, it rolls over. We know it blossoms into this, the satanic, so to speak, snakes come out of there and form this lotus, like the phoenix rises from the ashes. He gets all nervous. And then after this, we have this dark winter that was foretold by Mr. B, right? It's going to be a dark winter. And look, at the clock is at midnight, and America is torn. The flag is torn of America. And so we get into this dark winter time that then takes place after this. And so it makes you wonder, is this sort of a timeline that we're being given, with Rosh Hashanah being the kickoff of this? Because from the moment she drops the apple into the honey, that's when everything goes dark, and that's when it all cuts loose from there. So I thought that was pretty intriguing to consider. Also, September is the harvest moon. So I've always felt something about September, but it's, there's something there. And maybe it's because Jesus was born in September. We don't know for sure, but that's one theory. I mean, there's a lot there that's connected, and we go over in other things. But this is the harvest time as well. So it's the time to bring in the end of the year harvest, as God talks about at year end. So it's very intriguing that this is what's happening right now, and that they're removing that from their channel at this time. Is it because it's happening now? Is it because it's done foretelling it? Now it's actually going to take place. And if they're removing that, are we going to get removed as well? Right? Because now it's happening. It's beginning. And as you go through this video a little further, we see there's lots of crazy things in here, but one of the things that happens is with this, if I can find it, where are you? It's a war battle going on. Oh, here it is. And you got this guy. And so this guy, everybody knows this image is associated with the Day of the Dead. Now, the Day of the Dead takes place, Halloween, or November 1st, which is All Saints' Day, or the Day of the Dead. Dia de Muertos. Dia de los Muertos. So, is this an order of events? Right? Is an order of events that's happening. Notice, when she drops the apple, the WAR that is depicted in there hasn't begun yet. So we do have a couple events happening here. We know that the U to the N is meeting right after Rosh Hashanah. The 2 days following Rosh Hashanah, they're meeting. And you can check this video out as well, because there's interesting connections with the 2300 days in there. But that's happening September 18th and 19th. There are some things happening before that and after that, but that's kind of the primary thing of sealing this deal of the 7-year covenant. And then it's going to be confirmed in December by Mr. Chuckster himself, as he comes in and perhaps reveals himself at that time, or even somebody else gets revealed at that time with trillions at his disposal. So something to consider there. So here's our calendar right now. We're on the 6th, and we're about 10 days off from Rosh Hashanah, the time of apples and honey, getting dropped in the apples and honey. Now, going back to this video just briefly, again, this is like a battle that seems to be happening. Perhaps this is tied to the Wan, where this is going on, where she's standing in front of these TANKs, and then this guy grabs her by the shoulder, basically telling you when that's going to happen, like the timing of that. So they're coming in. She's standing there with the flag trying to stop it, and then he grabs her by the back and turns her around, and she's got the tiger on there, also representing that country. And I go over that more in the other videos. But and then you got this guy. So is it telling you the timing of that event, right? So all these things are going to play out. But at the point where she drops the apple, right, we don't have that yet. We haven't gone into the dark winter yet, so to speak. And so it could be a thing that is the kickoff, that things go dark, because God blocks the sun, turns the moon to blood. You got the blood kind of moonlight coming on there. The stars fall, and that's the kickoff. The saints are taken away, right? And maybe she goes down because she's being, changed into a different form, and then everything begins, and then the crown, so to speak, takes over that's under his foot, and we have everything else that takes place from there. Because then you get the dark winter, you get Psalm 23, but it also says his name and Mr. T's name on there if you look at it differently. So that's intriguing. And then we finally get and Jesus comes on the scene, which is also interesting. Jesus comes on the scene at that time as well. Of course, it's Antichrist Jesus, but it's it's interesting kind of double play on that. And then we've got the WAR kicking in really in full there. So interesting to consider. And then the US of the A falls. That's like the fourth part of the world that we've talked about. And then, you know, CASH falls, and everything starts going down at that point. So could it be that Rosh Hashanah is the kickoff, as shown in this video? And I think, well, how would they know that? Well, you know, they talked to... Oh, wait. I want to show you all this crazy stuff. Sorry. Forgot what was in this video. Anyway, so, you know, I don't know. But something to consider, what's really going on here. And then the church falls here as well. He prevails over the saints and comes out of the womb, so to speak. The Antichrist is born, so to speak. He's got the all-seeing eye and the pura to the mid on his head with the capstone on there. So very interesting to consider. So we'd love to get your thoughts in the comments here, and I'll be in the after video chat for a few. But guys, these are exciting times, and God is moving. If you think Satan is moving, God is moving even more. That's what we have to remember. Okay, stay encouraged, stay excited. You know, nothing bad happened before Rosh Hashanah in that video. So it's kind of telling you, like, is that the time? Is the Feast of the Trumpets the time when God is calling home his saints, and that's when all hell will break loose on the earth as well? Is that video pointing to 923? Was it a 623 pointing to 923 and 926? A lot to consider there. So love to get your thoughts. I'll be in the after video chat. Again, click the first link in the description of this video, and you can join us there. Also, you can join us at Mikael Ministries if you would want to subscribe there. I also have Mikael Music, but I'll be here in the after video chat room. It's in the left-hand side when you come over to our fellowship. It's free. Just click on the link. You can come join us in the fellowship. Would love to chat with you there if you have any more thoughts on the subject, guys. And thanks so much for your support and prayers. It always makes all the difference. And guys, be looking up, because Jesus is coming back, and you want to be ready when he gets here. So be sure to turn away from that lost life and turn to the Lord so that he can save your soul. Amen. Repent and believe the good news, because it's happening now. If you want to get right with God, come over and talk to me about that too. I'm happy to help you out in that area as well. But guys, I'm loving you. I'm wishing you all the best and all the blessed, and Maranatha.